big, not Florida, bringing on all the bullshit that it brings. All right.
Hey.
So, how are you?
I mean, really good. Shout out to last week's episode with Kivana.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot of fun. And by last week, I mean 13 minutes ago because
because here we are.
because we're filming triples today.
We're doing triples.
We're on episode 2 of 3 today. It is still September 7th.
We are still in the same clothes. It's
We're
still
still in this, and guess what? We don't
don't
change our
care.
clothes. I mean, we do change our clothes, but like
Not for the episode.
not for the episodes, bitch. I'm wearing this. I'm wearing all day almost.
Same. Before we get into the parts. All right. So this podcast is part of the You Run Podcast Network, where you can find all sorts of fun and exciting podcasts just like ours. You can catch them out at yourunpodcasts.com, or you can also check them out in the show notes, Instagram, wherever. So make sure you give them a like, follow, and go check out some of the really fun podcasts. And then with that being said, welcome to the Paranormal Misfits podcast, where the curious roam, the weird feels at home, and horror is just another day in the office. And I am your host, Chrissy.
And I'm your host, No Daniel. Back at it again. Damn, Nino Daniel, back at it again with the white bands. God. Today, we're in the throes of spooky season.
We are. I am so excited. Busy. More places are getting shit put up.
Thank God.
I know. I've gotten a couple
neighbors putting up
candles.
Decorations.
It's about time. We have one neighbor that refuses to take down his 12-foot tall werewolf, so he just dresses it up for each holiday.
Perfect. I would love that. Have a McLeod got me this like Sanderson sister blow up thing that we're gonna put out in the front yard, and that'll just kind of be there. Hopefully no one does anything to it.
That's our fear of putting stuff up in our yard. We're like, who's gonna take it? Who's gonna just destroy it?
I know. Whatever.
Kids are assholes.
Kids are a-holes, especially the kids in my fucking in my little gated community. Yeah, that's right. I live in a gated community, and it's not prison.
It's not prison.
Yeah. Just, I don't know, the little kids here are shits. Speaking of prison, I feel like, who are we talking about today?
So she avoided prison, but we are talking about Lizzie Borden.
Oh, is that the one where Lizzie Borden took an axe?
So, funny thing, I didn't know there was a second part to that rhyme. So it's Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. Andrew Borden now is dead. Lizzie hit him on the head. Up in heaven he will sing. On the gallows she will swing was the full rhyme. Yeah.
Damn, they spit in bars.
Right.
Could you imagine with a backbeat to that?
Oh my God.
I just picture myself twerking Lizzie Borden took an...
Oddly enough, the house is still standing where the murders did happen. It is actually bed and breakfast.
No, babe, it's a dead and breakfast. It's a dead and breakfast.
There have been plenty of paranormal investigators who have went through. You are more than welcome to stay in different rooms. Lizzie's room, her sister's room, her parents' room. There was a guest room. I want to say there's one more room somewhere, and I don't remember where.
The coffin?
Like the maid's quarters or something.
Oh, okay, because...
Yeah. I mean, there's a basement.
I mean, yeah, and you know what? There's also the ability to not go. That's crazy.
It's so crazy. Alrighty, so how much do you know about the murder?
All I know is that Lizzie Borden took an axe.
It's what the rhyme told me.
It's kind of like when Lady Gaga sang Judas, and it's like, how many times did Judas betray Jesus? 3. Okay.
You're like, thank you.
Thanks,
that was
Gogs.
informative.
That's really all I know. I want to know why the fuck she did it.
Okay, so we will never know the answer.
How?
There's lots of different theories, which are fun theories. Alrighty, so we're going to start on the murder. August 4th, 1892.
Recently. Well, not recently, but August 4th wasn't that long ago.
So there's also a tie-in with this, which I don't know if I want to make another episode on it or if I just want to say it in this one, but between the very late 1800s to the early 1900s, axe murders were fucking raging everywhere in the United States.
Maybe because they didn't have guns?
No, they did. Because that's
Or
post-war.
like access.
Oh, that's true. Well, no, shotguns. They'd have to be able to kill their steers and stuff somehow.
You know what? I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. So
I don't either. But we're just
okay,
gonna go
bitch.
guessing. I'm just saying, like, there has to be access to guns. Like,
well, yeah, America.
America.
Yeah.
All right. So, wealthy residents of the town Fall River, Massachusetts, were found brutally murdered in their home located on 230 2nd Street. The bodies of Andrew and Abby Borden. Fucking wild at the fact that their first names both start with the same fucking letter. Yeah. Were found by daughter Lizzie Borden around 11 a.m. that morning and she would be later deemed as the prime suspect. So how can an affluent woman brutally murder her father and stepmother? So this wasn't her blood mother, this was her stepmother. In cold blood.
I like how you said blood mother.
Yes. Blood
mother.
What was her motive? Did she really whack Abby 40 times and her father 41 times? So yeah, so Lizzie Borden was actually born July 19th, 1860. Hello, Cancer.
Of the family.
In many ways than one.
Of the family.
Like family. In Fall River, Massachusetts. So her mother's name was Sarah Borden and her father was Andrew Borden. Okay. Andrew was actually of English and Welsh descent and had struggled financially during his younger years, although he was a descendant of a very wealthy local residence in the area.
This is like, so basically she coming from old money.
Uh-huh.
She coming from that.
Yeah, kind of. I'm probably more like textile.
I was going to say textile. Yeah. Okay. So she rich.
So over the years, Andrew had actually worked his way up the ladder of the wealthy, and by the time of his untimely demise, his net worth was about $300,000. His time, while in our time that equates to about $10 million. So he was known to be very frugal and didn't even bother with indoor plumbing, despite the fact that all wealthy residents had it. I would be pissed. First off, I'd kill you just for that part.
Honestly, if I have to moat it. And I have a cousin in Bosnia who does not have indoor plumbing, and you have to literally piss and shit outside. I'm not kidding.
No, that's a no-go for me.
That's a no-go for me.
That's an absolute no-go. So here's the funny part. So her name's Lizzie Borden, right? Which obviously is a shorter name for Elizabeth. Her sister name, she has an older sister named Emma. They really loved doing this whole like
EBA, like EE. It's giving EE tuki tuki, like it's giving.
Exactly.
It's giving Georgia.
God,
Brendan Fraser. You know what? Say less. That's when I knew I was gay. I was like, that man's pectorals could hold up the Titanic.
Who are you telling? Like, my God.
That is just I am different than no straight man. Titties. All right. Anyway, sorry.
Just different kind of titties. Okay.
Just different kind of titties.
So they had a religious upbringing, and Lizzie was actually very much involved with church activities. Not much is shared about their mother Sarah's passing, but only that Andrew remarried 3 years later to Abby.
Okay.
So she would be
called quickly.
She would be called stepmother or Mrs. Borden by Lizzie, and it was stated that the relationship between her and Lizzie was cordial, though some speculate that to be false. Lots of animosity, apparently. Lizzie had believed that Abby had married her father for his wealth. I mean, yeah. Man's worth $300K.
If the man's worth present day 10 mil, you just gotta hawk to and spit on that thing. But be careful where you poop, because he's a fucking frugal non-plumber. Listen, maybe he laid down a different kind of pipe. Who knows? Continue.
Ew. Okay. Ew. Woo! Okay, the daughters Lizzie and Emma rarely ate meals with Andrew and Abby, according to the maid Bridget. Many disputes took place between the sisters and their parents, ranging from Andrew killing pigeons that Lizzie was boarding in the barn to various estate gifts he was giving Abby's family. Days leading up to the murder, it is said that the entire household became violently ill due to the mutton that was eaten.
Mutton is so disgusting.
Well, apparently that was
Do you know what mutton is?
Isn't that like intestines?
Yeah, essentially.
Okay. All right.
That's gross.
It's like real popular in like Ireland and them. Right.
Bitch, does it look like I fucking eat intestines?
Don't know. All I know is you can tell me, all you gotta do is tell me once what it's made of and I will go, no thank you.
When I ask what's in it, I really do mean what's in it.
I'm violently ill just listening. Thank you.
She said one thing about me. I'm looking up literally what is mutton. Continue with your story.
All right. So Abby, the stepmother, had speculated someone was trying to kill them with poison, as Andrew was not the most well-liked individual in town.
Oh.
So their uncle Morris from their mother's side had actually came to visit them and arrived August 3rd in the evening. He had breakfast with Andrew and Abby while Bridget worked around the home. That's the maid. Don't forget that one. It was said that Emma was actually away on a trip. So she was nowhere. Yep.
Mutton is a sheep that's been aged 2 years or more.
I'm violently ill. That's where I'm at. I'm violently ill. So are we talking like sheep's? I don't know.
That's just it's literally mutton is just an older sheep. Like you have calf and cow.
Yeah.
So you have sheep and then you have mutton. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and let you take over.
After chatting for roughly an hour together, their Uncle Morris left to go buy some oxen and visit his niece with plans to return to the Borden's residence for lunch while Andrew went out for his morning walk. So there is, from what I could gather, they were very rigid in their schedule. He always took a morning walk. Abby tended to the house and made the girls tend to the house on top of having a maid. So I don't understand the point of having a maid if you yourself are also going to do the chores.
And if you're making your kids do the same thing. Hi, mom and dad. The fuck?
Hi, thank you. So Abby went upstairs between 9 and 10 a.m., and this is all speculations, to make the bed in the guest room, and that is where the uncle was staying, even though that chore was designated to Lizzie and Emma. So remember, Emma's out of town, and Lizzie's nowhere to be found, I guess. So Andrew arrived from his walk around 10:30 and found that his key wasn't working in the door. So he had to knock to get into his house, in which the maid, Bridget, had let him in. By 11:10, Lizzie called out, "Maggie, come quick, father is dead. Someone came in and killed him."
Maggie?
I guess that's, I don't know. I don't know where the name Maggie came from. Because Bridget's last name is Sullivan.
The maid's last name, so the maid's name is Bridget Sullivan.
Sullivan. I don't know where Maggie came in, but that's apparently what was yelled. I don't know if it was a neighbor.
Okay.
Or, yeah, there's no telling.
Okay.
Yeah. So you can actually find the very graphic photos of the murder. So Andrew Borden was found on the couch.
Can you?
Oh, yes, you can. They even have it at the bed and breakfast up.
Fuck, all the way off?
Yeah. Yes,
wait, dead ass? Like,
yeah. And supposedly they have the axe that was the murder weapon too.
Y'all don't need to do that. Like,
all right. So Andrew was found on the couch in the downstairs sitting room. It was said that he was struck 10 or 11 times. One of the strikes had split one of his eyes clean into two. It was suggested that he was actually asleep at the time of his murder. Now, Abby was found on the second floor with 17 total hits, most of them being to the back of the head. Yes. So Abby got the worst.
So she was away. She was like facing away from it.
Oh, yeah.
My fucking God.
Found it.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. The dad is literally just like
slumped over to the side. Yeah,
slumped over. He's like on the couch.
Yep.
Lizzie Borden said.
I mean, so my thing is though, is
she
that
was
Abby's
cute looking though.
Abby was in the house, right? The dad's in the house.
The stepmom's in the house. The dad's in the house. Bridget's in the house.
Yeah, somewhere. And
Emma's nowhere to be found.
Emma's on a trip.
Emma's on a trip.
and Lizzie somewhere. They never, during this whole story, there's no like, oh, Lizzie was here in this room. Like, there's nothing that really says that. So I'm still at the point of like, you know how I was about when we were talking about the Amityville horror murder, where the guy kills his whole family and he manages to kill all of them with a shotgun that is absolutely loud.
And no one said, what's this noise?
No one said, what's this noise? No one wakes up out of their sleep. Like,
in the dead of night, mind you.
Right. Now with him, his is during the day, an active daytime. Like, it's mid-morning, we're already past, like breakfasts, people are already out and about.
Basically the day has started.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
You're telling me that he didn't make a single noise?
He was muffled? Like what?
See, that's where I get weird. And same thing for Abby. Abby gets struck from behind. You know she's going to yell. I would assume. Depending on how hard the bitch whacks her.
Depending on how hard. I mean, sometimes. Or even that, though. Like, think about back in those times, they didn't really have the greatest, like, home insulation. So if something fell...
It was loud.
It was...
Exactly. All right,
so weird.
I know during these time periods, obviously one murder wasn't like as controlled as they do it now. Like environments, investigations. People can go stomping all over the grounds as soon as the murder happens. I was reading, like in London, it was rampant of like they didn't secure crime scenes. Neighbors would just start walking in and out of crime scenes, messing up all sorts of evidence. So, like, that's where I'm at with this, too. All right, so during the investigation, it was found that Abby was facing her assailant during the initial strike, but the blunt force and consistent hacking she ended up face down. So Abby was actually struck from the front first and then got whacked.
Okay, so pop, got it.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Wouldn't she have... Like, if you see an axe coming at you, aren't you going to yell?
Also, wouldn't you try to, like, I don't flail? Well, my most, like, natural reaction would be if, like, I'm impaled from the front, I would fall back.
Right. Unless, like, it's, like, that hard and, you're pulling it. I don't know. I have no idea.
I wasn't there, so.
Yeah, right? So, the police did question Miss Lizzie at the time and found that her answers were strange and contradicting. Now, they didn't actually question her at the very beginning. They went to go question her and she goes, oh, I'm feeling ill. And she went and laid down and they let her. So that gave her time they never saw what her clothes looked like. They didn't see what her as a person looked like, whether there was a whole bunch of blood on her or anything, stuff like that. So she would state that she heard noises before entering the home, then turned around saying she didn't hear, and then would turn around saying she didn't hear anything and that Abby had left to visit a sick friend. She also had asked Bridget and a neighbor to look for Abby upstairs at the time of the murders. She was stated to be very, very poised and calm during the investigation. She was never properly searched the day of the murders, and later, through testimonies of the maid and others, stated that Lizzie had burned the dress she most likely committed the murder in. No tools were ever removed for inspection, and at best, all evidence was circumstantial.
Bruh, no wonder she fucking got away with it.
I mean, so on August 11th, Lizzie was arrested and jailed. By June 5th of 1893, her trial begins. June 20th, she's acquitted. So 15 days. In 15 days, she was acquitted, though obviously does nothing for her life in town because she is shunned by the community till her death. She died, I want to say she was like 80.
When did she die?
Did I write that down? I didn't think I wrote that down. I'd have to look it up.
I'll look it up.
Okay. Let's see. Many theories have came out as to why she did it. Suggestions of physical and sexual abuse at the hands of her father is one of them. Another one being that Lizzie was actually a lesbian and her and the maid Bridget were in a secret relationship. And they were caught by Abby, which caused her to murder both Abby and her father.
1927.
Okay. So the thought of Lizzie actually being in a same-sex relationship and being caught is the most plausible of rumors or theories because Lizzie actually never married. And it was rumored that Bridget had changed her testimony to save Lizzie.
Have you seen photos of Lizzie Borden?
Yes.
I mean, those statements about saying it tracks.
Well, so funny thing is that there's movies. There's a few movies that I'll talk about real quick. So again, this murder still isn't solved. By the way, it's still unsolved.
It's been 200 years.
It's been 200 years. So there are like, are there 3, 4? I want to say 3. I know there's a TV series. One of them had Christina Ricci.
Mm-hmm.
One of the movies had Kristen Stewart, playing Lizzie.
Kristen Stewart?
Uh-huh.
Bella?
Uh-huh.
Was she good?
I don't remember, so probably not. I mean,
that tells me all I need to know.
Now, I want to say with Christina Ricci, I believe there was a movie and a series with her. Like, I think that's how the series became, was they did a movie and then they did. And then there was one that I don't remember who wasn't necessarily about Lizzie Borden. It was about her descendants. And one of her descendants was...
Did she have kids?
No, but it said that her sister most likely did because, you know, her sister was still alive. But the one with Kristen Stewart uses the same-sex theory.
That tracks with Kristen Stewart.
I don't think the one with Christina Ricci did. And the one with the descendant who ends up with whatever, I don't even know what to call it, like a mental health issue. That one was kind of hard to follow. Because it also dealt with like murders in present day. I don't know. It was weird. It was weird. That one dealt with like traits being passed down, like murderous traits, and
Cute.
like mental health issues.
Cute.
Right? So
just
I mean,
cute
there
girly
are
things.
Just girl stuff, you know. Periods, check. Mental health issues, check.
Lesbian relationships with your maid, check.
You're like having issues with your parents, check. No,
you know how to find an axe in the back shed,
right? So yeah, so it's never been solved. And their fun fact, like I was saying earlier, is that this house is up for a bed and breakfast.
A dead and breakfast.
Dead and breakfast. We'll get into that after this little commercial break, though. Nino, do you want to say anything beforehand?
You know what's really cool about death is you don't have to die, and you can stay alive by clicking in our show notes, and you can perch the merch. Okay?
Perch the merch.
Perch the merch. Paranormal Misfits Podcast merchandise. Link for purchases in the show notes. We are trying to get to New Orleans. So if y'all could perch the merch, hit subscribe, follow, give us 5 stars, and just be nice to us on whatever podcasting platform you're listening to this. Thanks so much, and we'll be right.
Check out the latest episode of Dewey Pod Monster. This podcast is about consumption. They cover all kinds of subjects that can be consumed like beer, movies, music, spirits, and more. With this podcast, nothing is off limits. You can find them on most streaming platforms.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so tell me about the next.
So clearly it has indoor plumbing at this point.
Well, thank God. Yes, the dead and breakfast.
You know what's funny is that one movie I was talking about where they're going based off of like the Descendants timeline.
Uh-huh.
They actually used the bed and breakfast in it and did some filming in there.
Oh, God. So the actual house.
The actual house. The actual house. So anyways, it is a bed and breakfast. Is it haunted? It depends on who you talk to.
Let's get Zach Bagans to see it.
He did. Okay.
Are you fucking kidding?
No, I'm not.
He was like, I'm a paranormal expert in this place.
What pisses me off when we visit, and this is for all paranormal investigators, there's one on Instagram that's kind of following down that trade of like, I solved the murder. No, you didn't. You didn't solve the murder. You didn't solve it's unsolved for a reason.
There are professionals who do this stuff.
Hearing voices come through a spirit box saying yes, and you matching it up to whatever question you decided to ask at that time doesn't necessarily mean you solved the fucking murder, you asshole.
Clock that.
Yeah. So is it haunted? Well, staff will tell you it is. Some people who have stayed there will tell you it is. And yeah. So there's reports of the lights flickering and doors opening all by themselves.
Yeah.
With spectral figures floating from room to room. Now that spectral figure is said to be Abby, still in the midst of trying to do the chores that morning.
She's trying to suck that puss.
Not Lizzie, Abby.
The mom, sorry. She's trying to get that money. Okay, now you make that face though. She said, "I know."
She was, and look, straight it didn't work in her.
It didn't. She straight up said, "I know this motherfucker had money up in this bitch somewhere. The fuck."
Just wait. Just you wait.
Shit, okay.
All right, so many visitors claim to see an older woman wandering in the home. This is said to be Abby still doing chores. She is mostly seen on the second floor, obviously, because that's where she got killed. In the hallway and in the guest room, visitors have said that the bed sheets would tighten around them while they were still in the bed, like someone was making the bed for them while they're in it.
I'm busy that day.
Guests who have stayed in the room next to Lizzie's have claimed to hear the cries of a woman through the walls from Lizzie's room. Don't know how that correlates though.
And on that note, I'm leaving. Instead of doing like a bed and breakfast, can we do like a
dinner and dip? Can I eat my sandwich outside on the porch as I'm walking away? Thank you.
And by porch, I mean the one 4 states over.
All right, so here's the best part. Some claim that if you leave money on the dresser in Andrew and Abby's room, you'll be left alone. So money will encourage the ghost to leave you alone. Don't know how.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
Who do you think keeps it?
I don't know if I really want to stay in that room, though.
Wait. No. I don't. No.
Oh. No. So, I don't know if you remember this. American Horror Story Asylum.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, do you remember was she the one with the shorter hair? She was the one that was originally trying to get, hold on. I know this. They actually made her character revolve around Lizzie Borden because she tried to kill her parents with an axe.
Oh, fantastic.
In Asylum. Do you remember that?
It's honestly been so 900 years. Like, you could talk to me about Hotel and I'm like, huh?
I don't know why I just wanted it.
She put whore.
I did. I was like, why? That's not going to pull up anything. All right, let's see. So, wasn't that one? It was Grace. Was it Grace? Because, with Asylum, they kind of base a lot of those characters off of, like, real-life people or revolving around real-life people. So one of them was... I'm trying to find her fucking name. Because there was the woman that came into the asylum who claimed to be Anne Frank.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that. Rosaries, Angel of Death, Christmas. God, I come too far. No, it is Grace. So Grace was kind of like that sexually charged, I don't want to call them an inmate, a patient at the asylum. She ends up getting with Kit, so what's his name's character that's in like almost every fucking season that dated Emma Roberts. Please help me. Evan Peters.
Uh-huh.
So
who went on to play Dahmer.
Yeah. Her character is based off of Lizzie Borden. She was said to have killed her parents with an axe. So, there's that. There's the movies. There's so fucking much. No, it was Ghost Brothers. Ghost Brothers actually did a seance in the house.
Why?
Because that's what paranormal people do. No.
That's
what paranormal investigators do.
We're smart paranormalers.
Aren't we?
Well, I mean...
We're not actively doing them yet.
We're not actively
we don't know.
I just feel like it's another telemarketing thing where, like, have you or a loved one had a seance in the Lizzie Borden house? You might be entitled to financial compensation.
Okay, so that's what I have on Lizzie Borden. Now, during this time period, there's like 6 or 7 well-known axe murders in the United States. So you have Villisca axe murder
in the same time, and like
about
in
the
the
same
same
time
place.
period. No, in the same time period.
Oh, like across the U.S. though.
So I don't know if you remember. Well, yeah, because they made that reference to it in American Horror Story. Coven with the axe murder.
Mm-hmm.
So you have that. You have Villisca axe murder house. That's another one that'll be covered.
That one, yeah.
In a couple of episodes. And then there's like some between Villisca, because Villisca's where I think like Kansas. I don't remember. But through this little belt area, there was multiple murders with axes, where people just like they're unsolved religion. That's what you're going with.
You said belt, and I was like, Bible?
Not the Bible Belt though. It's just like within this like area where trains were made it easily accessible to go town to town.
Not no more.
Not no more. What do you think? First off, what did you know about Lizzie Borden?
So the things I knew about Lizzie Borden were that she took an axe. And speaking of, just really quick, in case you guys are trying to avoid getting cut up, Perch the Merch, link in bio.
Perch the Merch.
Perch the Merch. That's my new one. That's it. That's the one.
That's it.
I didn't know much about Elizabeth, the lethal axe woman Borden. Didn't know anything about her, but this was incredibly insightful. I was going to say incriminatingly. This was
incriminatingly.
Well, was there anything that was mentioned about how Bridget stated something in her testimony that would like support
I don't
Lizzie
think
getting
so.
off more ways than one?
Sure. Let's look. I don't if there was, I didn't write it down.
Okay.
Let's see, here's the murder. So yeah, there was a couple of things. So when Andrew couldn't get in the house and his key wasn't working and Bridget had to let him in. Bridget had initially said she could hear Lizzie laughing from upstairs. So like Lizzie.
But testimonially,
she ended up changing it. And I don't know if it says where it changed. So I think Bridget was one of the ones that stated that Lizzie was seen burning a dress, which was claimed to be the dress she did the murder in. Prosecutors argued that the killer had removed the handle of the axe because they never found the handle of the axe. They found the hatchet head, but never the full axe in the basement. And it was stated that the handle was removed because it was covered in blood. One of the ossifers, sorry. One of the officers had testified that the hatchet handle was found near the hatchet head, but then another officer actually contradicted it. So there was no bloody clothes found at the scene, and people had testified they had seen Lizzie burning a dress in the kitchen stove, which she stated was ruined when she brushed up against some wet paint. Where the fuck the wet paint came from, I don't know. Maybe that's just how you clean up after you murder.
Yeah, so like when I clean up wet paint, I just burn my skin.
All right, let's see.
People are weird.
People are it was some random shit. Let's see. There's the theories. So the trial has been compared to later trials of O.J. Simpson as a landmark in publicity and public interest in the history of American legal proceedings. Yeah, I don't really, that would be weird. Because she got hacked. So, yeah, the only thing that was alleged was when Bridget had died, she was on her deathbed. Allegedly, she had given a deathbed confession to her sister in which she stated that she had changed her testimony on the stand in order to protect Lizzie.
Wait, she changed it?
Mm-hmm.
Under oath?
Mm-hmm.
After investigation?
Yeah, but you got to think about it. They were not, I mean, clearly.
Oh, they weren't fucking taking notes and shit.
Yeah.
Well, she said this morning that she, she was eating puss, and then
right. It's not like the first 48 where they have like the cameras live in the fucking room while you're like, they didn't even interrogate her the day of. They never interrogated Lizzie the day of. They waited
because she had a fever,
right?
Bitch, killing people.
Bitch. But
when I get my hands on you, no kidding, no, never mind.
Oh my gosh, yeah, there's nothing really that states what exactly changed. Just that she changed it at the end, which does kind of, solidify that theory of they were in a relationship together. They were in a same-sex relationship together. They were lesbians and they got caught.
Who do you think caught them?
So it's a toss-up. They say it's Abby because of the location, because the rooms were all upstairs. Abby was upstairs. Abby thought no one was in the house, which is why she went to the guest room to go make the bed whenever technically that was set aside for the daughters. The maid was doing whatever maid shit she was doing, I guess. I don't fucking know. All right. So also at the bed and breakfast, the house became a museum. So there is a little museum in there.
Oh, wonderful. Is that free of admission if you do bread and breakfast?
I think so.
Yeah.
So funny thing is that you can investigate it at night. However, if there are guests in the upstairs rooms, you are only allowed to one certain area, and that's it.
So this is I love the fact that we're like bed and breakfasting. Oh, who does anyone own it? Does anyone within like the Borden family line own it, or is it just like a people who can buy up things own it?
It's said that it's part of the Fall River Historical Society. Now I do know there is a descendant, because I can't remember. I want to say it was Ghost Brothers, but I could be wrong. It's either Ghost Brothers or it's Ghost Adventures. But one of them during their seance had brought in relatives that were from the line.
Emma's kids?
Probably. That would be my only guess.
Or grandkids or great gang. Yeah, because no way.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
weird. And it did get some. It is weird. They did get some evidence, I guess, if you want to call it that, during that seance. But again, they were so focused on like, Lizzie, did you do it? Andrew, who killed you? Like, I feel like that's things that they've been asked repeatedly.
Like, Lizzie's probably like, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut because y'all could still indict me.
From beyond the grave. If you can marry from beyond the grave, you could probably be indicted from beyond the grave.
Shout out Beetlejuice.
Beetlejuice. No.
No.
So they did do that. But yeah, nothing's really happened since they do have the hatchet head in the museum.
Like the literal murder.
The one that was allegedly found in the basement.
There are things you shouldn't do with things that killed people. There are things you shouldn't do in a home where people were killed, like converted into a bed and breakfast and like monopolize the entire situation and feed off of like people's kink of like horror and paranormal things and have them pay for it. Do you think they would find anything? Like, I'm sure the house has been like exculpated. I'm sure it's been like remodeled in some capacity.
No, look at the pictures.
It would have had to get remodeled for plumbing, right?
All you have to do is just add the plumbing. They didn't have to do too much to it.
Is like, it still the same furniture?
I think they have some of the same furniture. Obviously, you got to get some comfortable furniture in there, but I want to say
they have the same couch. Oh my god.
They did have a couch that looks like it. I don't know if it was the same one.
I don't fuck with that shit, Chrissy. No, fuck that.
I really want to say that, yes, there it is. So Lifetime was the one who made the Lizzie Borden Took an Axe. That's the name of their series with Christina Ricci. No, that was the television film, which then was followed by the Lizzie Borden Chronicles. Lizzie has Kristen Stewart, and Kristen Stewart wasn't Lizzie, she was Bridget.
Again, makes sense.
Not very good with her last name, but she was in some of the American Horror Story. Chloe Sevigny? Mm-hmm. She is actually Lizzie in that movie.
That tracks.
Yeah, like that absolutely is
that
accurate.
That tracks.
But yeah, no, yes, the house still kind of looks the same. I had it pulled up a while ago when I was looking all of this up. I want to say they kept, obviously, like the foundation and everything's pretty much the same, Lizzie. If I can spell it, Lizzie. Let's go there. You can do a 90-minute guided tour offered daily from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Outdoor walking ghost tour starts at 7:30. There are also virtual ghost tours and house tours available on demand 24/7. I feel like we should do that.
Hey, we don't have to do that. We don't
Let me
have
see.
to.
I believe this is her house. You can, like I said, you can do the overnight ghost hunt. Yeah. So I don't know if you can see this.
No. And also, what is up with that font up top?
You gotta sell it.
And that creepy ass fucking font.
So you can stay in Abby and Andrew's suites. You can stay in Lizzie and Emma's suite, and then murder room. What the fuck is that?
Just a casual little murder room.
All right, let's just casually call it the murder room. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you can do a ghost hunt and an overnight ghost hunt there. I just like the price that you would probably have to pay for the ghost hunt, on top of the fact that like you're not allowed full range of the house because it's a bed and breakfast.
I mean, sure. Can you? But like, guests can't go like into the kitchen or anything. Like,
so it says new for 2024. For the first time, you can conduct a ghost hunt in the basement of the Lizzie Borden house after midnight. This option gives you
after midnight.
This option gives you access to the first floor and exclusive access to the basement. So you're allowed 10 people to conduct a ghost hunt in the basement and/or first floor of the house, and that's it. You're not allowed to go upstairs, but you do get full use of a full restroom and the kitchen on the first floor. Just to let you know, guys, if you are interested in staying at the Lizzie Borden house, not every room has its own personal bathroom.
What do you mean?
I believe Lizzie's and the guest room actually has to share a bathroom.
Oh, like Jack and Gillette?
Yep.
Not me.
Right. I saw that and I was like, that's a no.
I need a poop.
That's a no. I ain't trying to wake up my neighbors.
Okay, one thing about me, I have them trombone shits in the morning. And we just gonna be honest about that one.
I mean, it's one of those things where like they sensationalized it so much, true crime wise, and then they leaked over into paranormal.
Ugh.
And now we're here.
And we don't have to be. You don't, ladies and gentlemen, you don't have to like go into the Lizzie Borden murder house and stay at the bed and breakfast. You don't have to. Like, no.
I get tired of seeing like, oh, I solved the murder of the Lizzie
Girl,
Borden accident. No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. Bitch, I solved the murder. The fuck? How?
We all know it was Lizzie. We just need to know if the maid was involved or if she did it herself.
And that's that on that.
That's it.
That's it. Oh my God, people.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Hey, instead of going to the Lizzie Borden bed and breakfast, click the link in our show notes and purchase the merch. Do you know what I mean?
Purchase the merch.
And we're trying to go to Louisiana.
Or buy us a beverage.
Buy us a bevies.
Yeah.
It supports everything. We really are trying to go to freaking New Orleans.
We're trying to make that plan.
We're trying to make that plan, okay? And Nino has a second round of dental surgery coming up next year. We getting old. 34 and freaking
37.
34 and 37. I'm out here diabetic as fuck. Listen, I know.
Let's see. You got any shout outs? We
haven't done shout outs in forever.
I have a couple. So I want to give a shout out to Dr. Ghost Hunters. Their season is about to kick off on YouTube, and you'll catch me on one of their episodes.
Yes!
Part of their panel to kind of give insight onto some footage they had caught in a military museum where it said that the purple heart that is underneath the glass case has a spirit attached to it. So they wanted some insight. So shout out to Chad, Jason, their wives, and their YouTube show. They're awesome. Make sure you guys check them out. How about you?
I would like to shout out, this is going to be so sentimental, but like shout out to my doctors and nurses who took care of me during my ER visit. Shout out to my husband for making sure I stayed alive and all my friends who checked up on me. And also shout out to the best fucking time of the year.
Right?
Shout out to spooky season. Like, I don't know. That was a weak ass shout out, but you caught me off guard.
I get it.
Anything else you want to say before we wrap up?
Yes. So if you yourself have stayed in the Lizzie Borden house, whether you investigated
let us know.
Yes, please. I'm dying to know.
Let us know. We'll take all forms of proof: photo, video, audio. Just don't send us like pornos and shit like that. No. Send them only to me. Just don't do that.
So we have been getting a little bit more increase on people who want to come on the show and talk and everything. Guys, you can always just send us a DM. We can start setting stuff up. And if you're into doing some collaborations or sponsorships with us, I will have Nino's email linked in the show notes. So please make sure you email him because Christy don't know shit.
If you are a brand or business looking to get on an introductory sponsorship offer, get in touch with me. We have really cheap rates. Like, really cheap rates. Really cheap. We finna try to go to New Orleans.
That's right.
But yeah, get in touch with me. But please, if you're listening to this and you realize that you have my business email that I respond to, please only serious inquiries.
Yes.
Okay, don't.
We do know what the block button is, guys.
Yeah, and I know what a spam button looks like. I don't need that shit.
Right.
So if you're a business or brand with a serious inquiry on being promoted with the Paranormal Misfits podcast, get with me. Yep. Anything else you want to add before I take us home?
No, not that I can think of.
Okay.
All right.
Well, folks, we know you don't want to leave. And trust me, we definitely want you to because we're tired as fuck. We're wrapping up episode 2 of 3 in a triple filming day. I'm fucking tired. So we know you don't have to, we know you don't want to leave. But since you have to fucking go, babe, you might as well creep out. Bye.
Bye.